Have you ever wondered what you would do if a zombie apocalypse became a reality? I wonder if anyone has ever sat down to think if there are zombies in the Bible. The answer might surprise you, because the Bible does indeed talk about zombies. But will there really be a zombie apocalypse as many are preparing for today? Because are you preparing, right? For those who are not familiar with the Bible, there are hidden surprises in its pages that could change the way you see the world. For the more scholarly, this could be a fascinating find, an unexpected connection between ancient scriptures and our modern concerns. And for those seeking a more rational explanation, you'll be surprised by the scientific data on the possibilities of a zombie apocalypse and how these could align with some biblical prophecies. So grab your Bible and let's get started. I've reviewed the sacred scriptures in search of zombies and I actually found them there. So let's look at some places where the Bible talks about these enigmatic beings. First, in Matthew chapter 27, it speaks of this moment, just after the resurrection of Jesus Christ. The Bible says that a specific group of people who were in the tombs rose up and walked around. This is probably one of the strangest verses in the Bible, and it's in Matthew chapter 27, verses 51 to 53. And behold, the curtain of the temple was torn in two, from top to bottom. And the earth shook, and the rocks were split. The tombs also were opened. And many bodies of the saints who had fallen asleep were raised, and coming out of the tombs after his resurrection they went into the holy city and appeared to many. So here we have the dead coming out of their tombs and appearing to many. Well, that sounds like a mini zombie apocalypse, doesn't it? Who were these? Well, I'm not going to go into details on that right now, but if you want to delve into these resurrected dead, let me know in the comments to upload the video. Now, let's get to the central theme of the video, and we're talking about the prophecies we have about a possible future zombie apocalypse. In those days people will seek death and will not find it. They will long to die, but death will flee from them. Revelation 9. Imagine a world where death has become unreachable, a world where the dead could walk among us. The apocalypse is composed of a series of visions that John had, revealed by Jesus Christ, about the events that will occur at the end of times. These visions include the opening of the 7 seals, the sounding of the 7 trumpets, and the pouring out of the 7 bowls of God's wrath. Could this ancient text contain clues about an even more chilling event? Could it hold clues about a zombie apocalypse? Each of John's visions unleashes a series of catastrophes and judgments upon the earth, from wars and famines to plagues, natural disasters, and more. But could it be possible that these living dead are one of the punishments awaiting humanity? And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. Revelation 9 verse 6. Imagine a terrifying scenario, people in such agony that they desperately seek death as an escape, but they cannot find it. Death, instead of freeing them, eludes them. This torment is part of the 5th trumpet, where demonic locusts, released from the abyss, torment humanity. If we think about a zombie apocalypse, we can see parallels with people tortured by divine judgments who desire to die but cannot. This suggests a scenario where the resurrected dead from Hades have power over the unprotected, leaving only 144,000 with the mark of protection. Is it a fantasy or a future prophecy? According to the Bible, it seems that a zombie apocalypse could be a reality. For 5 months, people will try to die unsuccessfully. What does that sound like? Walking undead? To understand the possibility of a zombie apocalypse, we must first analyze the global context in which we live. In recent decades, the world population has experienced unprecedented growth. In the mid-20th century, we were significantly fewer people on this planet. Today, we face overpopulation that poses enormous challenges, not only in terms of resources but also in terms of control and global stability. We know that everything written in the apocalypse will happen and that we ourselves will contribute to the destruction. We know that we are on the brink of a possible Third World War. At the same time, there are theories and plans suggesting the need to reduce the world population. This idea is not mere speculation. Modern science has shown us how genetic manipulation and pathogen engineering could lead to the creation of biological agents that might alter human behavior in unimaginable ways. What if an agent, designed to spread rapidly and affect the human brain, were accidentally or intentionally released into the population? We recently experienced something similar with a disease that took millions to the grave. A rapid and lethal spread is possible. What we lived through could have been a laboratory test for something darker, something yet to come, and we all were unwitting guinea pigs. One of the most intriguing points supporting the possibility of a zombie apocalypse comes from the research of Dr. Stephen Schlossman at Harvard Psychiatry, a name well known in academic and scientific circles. In his influential book, the doctor explores how genetically modified biological agents could trigger symptoms remarkably similar to typical zombie behaviors in fiction. The so-called neurodegenerative ataxia deficiency syndrome would be the technical name for what we commonly know as zombies. The doctor posits that the possibility of an ordinary person turning into a living dead is quite plausible. The key to this: irreparable damage to the frontal lobe of the brain. A person without the frontal lobe is functional in terms of their own mobility but lives entirely governed by the amygdala and the anterior cingulate cortex, a so-called reptilian brain, where anger and aggression are generated. This syndrome, as described by the doctor, could result in a loss of satiety, causing those affected to feel constant and insatiable hunger, which would explain the aggressive and voracious behavior attributed to zombies. Transmission of a zombie microorganism could occur through bodily fluids like saliva or blood, mechanisms we've seen in other contagious diseases. Once infected, the disease could trigger rapid destruction of brain tissue. This devastation could affect critical areas of the brain that control motor function and cognition. This could explain why the Bible only speaks of 5 months. Such a contagious and deadly agent would take very little time to seize the entire world. These 5 months will likely feel like years of suffering and pain for those who must live through the tribulation, and the way things are going, it might very well be us. In Zechariah 14 verse 12, we read, "And this shall be the plague with which the Lord will strike all the peoples that wage war against Jerusalem. Their flesh will rot while they are still standing on their feet, their eyes will rot in their sockets, and their tongues will rot in their mouths." This passage describes a terrible plague that directly affects the human body in a way that strikingly resembles modern depictions of zombies. Could it be possible that Zechariah was describing an ancient form of what we now call zombies? Many scholars and theologians have interpreted these verses as a warning of a divine punishment that transforms humans into lifeless creatures, yet physically active. In other words, they would be manufacturing zombies, people who have no control over their bodies, constant hunger, rotting in life, the living dead. Basically, we would be lost. Because let's remember, how long did it take for the bug to take over the world? Let's go back. The first case appeared around December 8, 2019, and by March 2020, we already had massive alerts in almost every country. It basically took around 100 days to take over the entire world. I don't want to be conspiratorial, but it's very suspicious that it all started in December, during the peak holiday season with more flights, and in a place with poor hygiene conditions and a weak healthcare system, which caused massive contagion before health authorities could act. Well, the Bible may be describing a degenerative disease that will turn humanity into zombies, decaying flesh, the living dead. Therefore, this new contagion could occur during vacation periods, in places with very little hygiene and with a deplorable healthcare system. Out of all this contagion, how many of us can still say we never got sick? Very few, honestly. Tell us in the comments if you were one of the lucky ones who didn't get sick. Many will say that all this is not possible. Scientifically, There is less than a 1% chance of this happening. But we believed the same in 2020 and were in quarantine, so we will always be the paranoid ones until things happen. But in the Bible, there are even more facts describing this event. And from the smoke came locusts on the earth, and they were given power like the power of scorpions of the earth. They were told not to harm the grass of the earth or any green plant or any tree, but only those people who do not have the seal of God on their foreheads. The protection offered by the seal of God is a spiritual safeguard against these torments. This seal is a mark of belonging and divine protection, reserved for the servants of God. But who are these sealed ones, and how can I obtain one of these seals? It speaks of 144,000 people who will be marked before the suffering begins. In the book of Revelation, chapter 7, verses 4-8, the sealed ones are mentioned, and I heard the number of the sealed, 144,000 sealed from every tribe of the sons of Israel. These 144,000 are described as servants of God, sealed on their foreheads to be protected from the plagues and judgments that will fall upon the earth. They are evenly divided among the 12 tribes of Israel, with 12,000 sealed from each tribe. But what does it mean to be sealed? In this context, the seal of God is a mark of divine protection and ownership, imposed upon righteous men by the angels of the Lord. These 144,000 are set apart and protected for a special purpose during the end times. This seal symbolizes exclusive belonging to God and spiritual protection amidst the apocalyptic judgments, meaning that whatever comes out of Hades cannot harm them. So, you should start searching your family tree to see if you're lucky enough to belong to one of the 12 tribes of Israel. However, belonging to this select group of sealed ones isn't just about having Israeli blood. In Revelation 14 verse 4, these individuals are described with distinctive characteristics, so grab a pen and paper. Perhaps you meet the criteria to be sealed. This is what the Bible tells us about the chosen ones. These are they who have not defiled themselves with women, for they are virgins. These are they who follow the Lamb wherever he goes. These were redeemed from among men, being the firstfruits unto God and to the Lamb. So if you're not a virgin, you can stop your genealogical search. You won't be on the list of these 144,000 protected during the apocalypse. But don't worry, we're not completely lost. The Bible offers hope and salvation for all. While we will have to endure the great tribulation and fight against the zombie apocalypse, Revelation 7 also gives us hope of salvation. After this I looked, and behold, a great multitude that no one could number, from every nation, from all tribes and peoples and languages, standing before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed in white robes, with palm branches in their hands, and crying out with a loud voice, "Salvation belongs to our God who sits on the throne, and to the Lamb." These are the ones coming out of the great tribulation. They have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. Therefore they are before the throne of God, and serve him day and night in his temple, and he who sits on the throne will shelter them with his presence. So, yes, we will have to live through the zombie apocalypse, but if we follow the teachings Jesus left us, love our neighbor, and do good in this world, we will be saved. We must purify ourselves, but we will have salvation. After all, it was Jesus himself who paid for our salvation and liberation with the price of his precious blood. In the midst of a zombie apocalypse, the key to our salvation lies in our faith and our actions. Let's remain steadfast in our faith, love and care for others, and always remember that God offers us hope and salvation. The best guide to survive everything that is coming is found in the Holy Scriptures. There is nothing better than reading the Holy Bible. The truth is, while we do not know the day or the hour, we must be prepared, not only spiritually but also in human terms: food, medicines, water, batteries, supplements, and why not a pair of these to be fashionable? Around the world, many strange sightings, sounds, and strange shapes in the sky have been seen, which many predict as the trumpets of the apocalypse. Many claim that the 4 angels bound at the Euphrates River have awakened, and here are the real sounds captured nearby. I hope you enjoy them and don't forget to subscribe.